Hi there, folks, and welcome to Who's Talking Out in the Street. Whole bunch of Amish people walking by. Hi there, folks, and welcome to another episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. Well, it's been a months in the making, months in the works, but we're gonna stand back here and just look what's hooked up to the mighty tow vehicle. Yep. It's the Good Enough John boat. Brought to you by yours truly. Well, I'm gonna get brave and I think we got enough things put together to put this boat on the water and give it its first maiden voyage. And you guys might be asking, well, Michael, what outboard you putting on it first for the test? Well, I'm gonna tell you. And I'm going to tell you why. It's the one outboard motor that I now affectionately call Ding Ding. And you guys are going, well, what outboard do you have that you're calling Ding Ding? I'm working my way back to it right now. Well, do you guys remember the 20 horse Mercury? That fires up, actually runs pretty decent, and I'm trying to drag it out of here while I'm holding it with one hand, and yeah, front and center, the dusty, the crazy, the Mercury that goes ding ding, and I cannot figure out where the ding ding is coming from. Remember, we did a skeg repair on the bottom. Soldered that up and got her all looking like good again. We put it to the test in the test tank, and it makes this ding, ding, ding. You know, it's not relevant to RPM. It's not relevant to anything but just a random ding, ding noise. So I made a corporate decision here that we're going to take this on the water, and it's going to go or it's going to blow. Or it's just gonna ding ding and nothing's ever gonna happen wrong with it. But I thought this one would be a good test, and I'm pretty sure it's a short shaft. Dang it. Well, that's okay. I'll just adjust the transom plate for the short shaft action. We'll take a quick measurement here, but I'm pretty sure it's a short shaft. And we're gonna put this on the boat and give her a goat and see what it does. So yeah, here's my transom. I think I gotta measure I'm gonna measure from here down to the cavitation plate real quick. But I am just looking at how it sits on my engine stand, because long shafts hang down quite a bit further than this one is. So what do we got from about right here? Let me show you. Right there to the top of the mount, it's about 18 inches. You know, that might not be awful. Let's take a look here. Because the bottom of the boat to the top of theirs, from the bottom of the boat to the top of there is 23. So lower at 5 inches. What's 18 plus 23? 5 inches. So this has got to be converted to short shaft capabilities. So let's do that right now. I'm just going to do it while you watch. And all we got to do is remove 4 bolts. Shove it down, put those 4 bolts back in. Short shaft accommodated. Goodness. Well, I didn't make that none too loose, did I? Wow. Well, that's a problem. I can't tighten them up. Well, that doesn't work. So, option B, plan B is to pull this one off, put it on the outside. That'll give me enough room in the down position. That's what we'll do. That'll work. Problemo el salvod. Alrighty folks, good morning. We're back out here. I've got everything on the boat I think ready to go. Just gonna do a quick walkthrough with you to show you everything I've kind of put together here. We'll look underneath the hatch first. Underneath here, I've got some life vest, boat paddle, rope with some, one of those anchors hooked to it. You got to have one of those. And last night we mounted my fire extinguisher. I use those nutsert tools and put me 2 nutserts in there, some 1/4 flathead stainless screws, secured. We got us an extra 5 gallons of gas. We're planning on running this engine, this outboard a lot today if I can. Here's the old tank there ready to plug in. I got me a deep cycle 12-volt battery strapped down to the ribs for now. That wouldn't be a permanent case. I want to do something for the tank and the battery and all that fun stuff. But this is the first test run. We got the old Ding Ding 2-stroke 20 horse Mercury. I forget the year. I'll put it up here right now because I'll look it up. I've got me a trolling motor. Ouch. I got me a trolling motor. I hook up to battery as backup emergency power. And you guys might be asking, what the heck is going on with that trolling motor? Well, a buddy at work wanted to try and he made it a little adapter piece and all that fun stuff to put a airplane propeller. There's one of these fiberglass, reinforced ones. They're tough on a trolling motor. And I put it in a test tank, and it actually moves quite a bit of water. We're going to see today if it'll actually move a boat. That's pretty much it. We got our Millennium B seats in here, all mounted and ready to go. The only thing I wanted to do before we took off is I want to double check the oil in the gearbox down here, because I had this thing hanging in the tank for a while and just want to see if there's any water possibly got into the gearbox. So we're going to do that now. And okay, cool. I got my trim adjusting pin here that's in it in case we need to adjust the trim. But I got some ratchet straps holding down the back of the boat. I got my boat plug in. I think I'm ready. So we're going to check this gear oil and make sure it's all cool, and we'll go on from there. All right, folks, we're back out here. Second time. I'll explain more later. I'm not sure if I caught it in the first video when I put in the water. I had the camera pointing forward, but apparently we had a spun prop. I didn't know that. So fortunately, we did a little quick research. Props are 150 to 180 bucks. I happen to have a spare one at home off of another outboard. It's a two blade versus 3. Let's see how it does. Still not floating up. All right. Oh, come on. I think we've got another spun prop. The thing just seems to like rev up and but not go. It's turning the prop, but it's in gear. I'm just running the fuel out of the carb now. What a bummer. Second trip out here. I thought this one, I tested it, it felt pretty tight, but she's just spinning on the hub. middle for the most part, yeah. Oh, when you went to let me go, I came up to unhook it, it was unhooked. Yeah, the doggone thing is just...
Spinning on this one too?
Yeah. I actually was able to pull it off the trailer a little bit, and I'm like, okay, we're rocking and rolling. I didn't even check this at home before I left.
I wonder if there's just so much time it just dry rots.
I think so.
Without being in the water for who knows how many years.
Because... Yep, sure as shit. It's slipping. Because I actually was turning the motor over and it felt solid, but now I can get it to...
Once it gets wet, it's a lubricant at that point.
Yeah. All of them are rubber mounted.
All of them?
Oh yeah. Even my big boys at home are rubber mounted. That's just something they do. It's just the rubber gives out. I brought it in with that.
Yeah, I saw that.
It actually works.
Good amount of thrust?
2 miles an hour. Be better. Yeah, son of a gun of a gun.
Oh.
Sorry to waste your time.
No, nothing. Not a problem at all.
Getting good at launching and unlaunching.
Yeah, that one went on nice and smooth.
Yeah.
No issues.
No issues. Well, I kind of bent those things up a little bit. They're kind of getting adjusted. I was going to take the time to go ahead and cut those off, but I'm like, nope, got to get back to the lake. God dang it. So I'm going to go home and that 15 horse that I've been having all the trouble with, not wanting to run right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and pull that lower gearbox off and see if it's got a plugged exhaust, because that's what it acts like. And somebody told me in one of the comments about that spacer I put in there to make it a long shaft. Well, if that's the case, I'm going to pull it off, and if that's the case, I'll be able to throw it in the tank, run it, and see if she keeps running. And if she keeps running, well, folks, I'll tell you what, that was disappointing. Second spun prop. And the crazy part about these props is they're, on this particular 20 horse, is it is a 8 spline. Yes, 8 spline. It's a very small shaft, but that's the way it was designed. And I think this is, I might have mentioned this before, it's a 1975, but and get it to fire, get it to run. It feels like it wants to do the RPMs, but it starts to go, it goes like it's gonna go, and then it feels like it's slipping out of gear. But now the prop, when I checked it at home, felt fine because I had it on the shaft, had it in gear, and I was spinning the motor over without it slipping at all. But here I am getting in the water, everything's soaked up wet, you know, and not so much the same kind of action. I got it back out of the water now, and now I can actually spin it like I was before. I'm like, shoot. So I don't know what to do at this point. I don't have another prop. I have the 2-blade and the 3-blade prop. Like I said, we've looked these up when we were the first time we were at the lake. And you know, you can get them from about Michigan Wheel is about, or Michigan brand, I think it's Michigan Wheel or something like that, is about the only place that I've seen or that we saw that had some available. But 150 to 180 bucks for the darn thing. And you know, when you go out and buy but you can buy a 10 spline or you know, just a 10 spline, or I'm trying to think it was 10 or 13 or 14 spline. No, I think it's a 14 spline or 13 spline, something like that. You can get those for like $65, $75, $80. So because of the rarity and the age, and I guarantee they don't make these anymore. And the scary part about it is I would almost question that $170 prop that you can get from Michigan, even if it's brand new. If it's new old stock, the rubber is freaking old. You know, you're talking rubber that's almost 50 years old if that's the case. Because it's just, and plastics and rubber, as soon as it's made, it starts to age. And that's all there is to it. I don't care what kind of climate control, care for the environment you had, it just ages, it hardens, it deteriorates. I don't know what you can do to prevent that, but I don't think there's anything, honestly. So I'm gonna go home, figure out what I want to do. Now, I have seen people take these hubs and drill and bolt things through it so it doesn't slip. I don't know if that's the answer to this. It's not a permanent answer. It'd be a band-aid fix, I feel. Part of me wants to take that rubber and get it all out of that rubber and rigid mount it, but I don't think that's a great idea either, because even your newer stuff has, you know, rubber in there, and the rubber is to help take some of the shock when you put it in gear and it's in the water and it's up against, you know, water. Let's say for all practical purposes is a hard stop at that point in time. But I'm disappointed. Yeah, I've spent now, by the time I get home, literally 4 hours on the road going back and forth to the lake. Part of me says, you know, this is the maiden voyage for the old, and the boat's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I'm testing an outboard. You know, I could have sold this to somebody thinking it was okay, or sold them to it for a discount price because of the ding ding noise. And I ran at my test tank, and the test tank, there again, really wasn't letting me know that it was spinning at the time. It was spinning, churning water, but the fact that I really put a heavy load on it made it let go. I don't know. But so I think I'm gonna go home. I've got a 15 horse Johnson that I hasn't ran right since the day I got it. It ran, but it doesn't run good. And there again, I think I've brought this up in many other videos, that I shouldn't say many other videos, that somebody had told me that that extension plate that's in there to make it a long shaft versus a short shaft is the secret behind something's plugging the exhaust. You know, if the exhaust is plugging, then it's dying. And boy, it sure is. Once I learned that, or heard that, or read that, I'm like, that's exactly how this thing's acting, because I put a whole different carburetor on it, and it didn't do it as bad, but it did the same thing. And just like call it 15 more seconds before it started to act boggy, and then eventually died, because if you can't get the exhaust out, you know, the chamber fills up and just pressurizes, and then fuel don't flow and it don't go. So I'm gonna go home, pull that one off, and if that's the case, I'll change this jack plate back up to a long shaft, put that Johnson on there, and come back to the lake again today. I'm not giving up yet. Been started since 6 a.m. this morning. It's now 11 a.m. So I've spent 5 hours doing this, and my day's just getting started. Because when I'm on the YouTube bandwagon and working on boats and stuff, you know, 12 and 16-hour days are not unusual. It's usually wake up in the morning, get started, get after it, and then finally I'm yawning so much I can't keep my eyes open, and I go to bed 10, 11 o'clock at night, and then the next morning get after it again. So, all right, stay tuned. I'm hoping I can even edit this thing to make it a worthwhile video, or maybe, you know, share stuff with you guys, and, you know, keep doing what I'm doing. But buyers beware. 1970s two-stroke or there won't be any four-strokes out there. Two-stroke Mercury's, the rubber, and it could be any outboard motor actually. The rubber can be shot. This is the first time since I've been playing with outboards and doing outboard things that I have actually experienced a spun prop, and to happen twice in the same day blows my mind a little bit, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Okay, folks, we'll tune back in. I think I'm gonna give you the full day of what my exploits are, and we'll go from there. So we'll see ya once I discover some more things that I can take to the water. My son's awesome. He says, just give me 20 minutes notice, I'll meet you at the lake, because I live about 40 minutes from the lake in one direction. He lives 20 minutes from the lake in another direction, so he can get there twice as fast as I can. So I just give him a heads up, hey, I'm getting ready to leave to go to the lake. He'll time it to where he meets me there, so he's not wasting a lot of his time just sitting around waiting for me. And we'll try it again. he seems to be available, you know, anytime, especially when he loves to go out in the boat and ride around the boat, and he loves to fly that drone, and it's a great opportunity to do both at the same time, and we'll keep going. We'll see you in a bit. Well, folks, we got the old Good Enough John boat back at the backyard marina. Still got the Mercury hanging on the back. I'm gonna leave it hanging on the back there until I see get another outboard ready to rock and roll. You know, as you guys heard in the video, why I call it ding ding, it has this little ding ding. We can't figure it out. I don't know what it is. No clue. But I also wanted to show you, there's the spline. It's an 8 spline. It's actually a pretty small shaft because all the newer stuff has a much bigger spline. You know, it's 14, 13, whatever it is. Other feature I wanted to show you is this right here. Look at that. Half hole, full hole. And that's actually machined that way. And I got to looking at that going, why in the heck? And then I go, oh yeah. So you can actually set your trim with the half hole, still have the ability to let this thing kick up. Or if you're in water you're familiar with and you're not worried about running over logs, stumps, or shallow water, you can lock it into the whole hole. And then I'll lock her down, right? And as you saw in the video, earlier in the video, this actually this is a 30-pound thrust trolling motor, and with that prop on it moved us at 2 miles an hour wide open. I wasn't disappointed. It worked just fine. I checked the cabling when I had it hooked up there to make sure it wasn't getting hot, like it was putting extra stress on it. Didn't seem to hurt anything. Oh, let me show you something else that's really cool. I was just at a store today and I forgot this boat, I did not have a throwable. I wasn't 100% legal. So I found a throwable. Look at that. Ain't the same camo, but it's camouflage. This looks like real tree and this looks like not labeled with anything particular on it. So then I just had to get a couple of camo life preservers. Pretty cool. I'll tell you what, having a space up in the front of the boat like this is a blessing for sure, because you can put all that stuff in it. We'll put these other ones that I had in there into that 70s boat, that green one sitting back there along the shop. So we'll just use those in that. So I like to have myself set up, and it might be being spoiled, I don't know what you want to call it, or just, you know, making it easy on myself that when I hop in a boat and go, it's got everything I need. It doesn't have to worry about, oh, I got to move this over here, I got to move that over there. That's why this little tank here, right there, I don't know, that's a 5-gallon or maybe a 6 gallons, it looks like, maybe 6 US gallons. That metal tank, I'm going to replace with this tank over here that I've had. Dun dun dun. So that guy there's a 12-gallon tank, and I'm going to put a hose on it that's a universal fit for the big, small Mercury and the OMC Johnson quick connects for the outboards. That way, no matter what outboard I hang on it, I can connect up to it and not worry about, you know, getting the right tank in the boat before I leave. So it'll be cool. And then if I take out, for instance, I take out a Mercury and a Johnson or an Evinrude, and I wanted to swap them out, I can still swap them out. Now the other thing you saw me do in the video is move this around, and I put this wood piece on the back and left the aluminum on the front. I'm not unhappy about that. I think that'll just play. This has got wood to bite into. This aluminum isn't crazy hard. Not to mention the screws I used to hold it right here actually are below or above this. So if it was to slip up, that screw head might even slow it down a bit. Okay. Well, that's just to let everybody know that not every day and every project goes smooth. I'm gonna leave mistakes in my videos and errors in my videos. I could have not said anything until I got the right prop on there and had this working, and you guys see me 100% success. Oh man, he never has any flaws. I got plenty of flaws. I'm gonna take you in the shop here. I wanna show you one more thing that I mentioned earlier in the video, but it's a part of its own other video. That'll be coming out sometime soon. And that's the 15 horse Johnson 9.9 with a big secret. One of the most famous outboard on my channel. It's had over what was it, over 500,000 views in total between 2 videos. There's about 5 videos out there for it. So somebody asked the question or made a comment, and I mentioned it before, that this intermediate piece might have blockage, keeping the exhaust from going through. Nope, it's a wide open hole all the way through. And I look up in here, and it's a wide open hole all the way up there. So that is not my issue. So one by one, I've been narrowing down the problems with this. I replaced the carburetor, 2 separate carburetors, perform exactly the same way pretty much. So I think it's the power pack. And you guys were going, what's the power pack? Well, it's part of the, let's call it the electronic ignition system. This guy right here. And these things aren't very expensive. So boy howdy here is going to go ahead and put a new one on it. I have 2 other outboards that I can rob parts off of, but I don't know if they ran when they were stopped running and I ended up with them, or what. I don't know the history. That's why I like new parts. And the nice thing is, if I put the new part on here and it does the exact same thing, I'm just thinking that that power pack is faulty. It'll let you start it, but once it gets a little circulation going with the electrical juices, that it goes, wigs out and starts, the spark starts dying and it starts bogging. It just, you don't have a hot enough spark, you're not gonna have a hot enough fire to keep the engine running. So that's my next step on that, but that'll be in a whole nother video on troubleshooting that guy. I just thought, I mentioned it in this video, so I thought I better not leave you guys in the dark, because a lot of you, and I say a lot of you, 18% of my viewers are returning viewers, which, I see a lot of YouTubers out there that are saying, oh, I know only 7% of you are returning viewers. And so don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, you guys, my audience, I've said it over and over again, are some of the best people in the world. Leave some awesome comments. They leave some great suggestions. And, I great tips. And I always say thank you for the tip, or thank you, for the comment. I don't get like thousands and thousands of comments. So I have half of a chance of responding to everybody the best way I can. If I don't have the answer to a question, I'll tell you I don't have an answer to a question that you may have. I will make suggestions, but that's also not the end all be all of what might be wrong with your boat. Without being there, just like this Johnson 99, it has been, I would say, I'd be wrong if I said I've been working on it for 3 years. I bought this in 2020, and this is 2023, summer of 2023. It's going on 3 years of ownership right now, probably about now. And that's not, I've worked on it here and there, and when I had an application, I tried to get it running like I did for the banana, and it didn't work. And then it was a carburetor, got the carburetor, spent some money there. That didn't work, but now I have 2 15-horse carbs, which is, because I'm actually going to take and put if this works with that coil pack, I'm going to put the original carburetor back on it and see if that works. If that's the case, I got 2 good 15-horse carbs. I'm not going to have a problem turning another 9.9 into a 15 if I want. Or do I sell one of the carbs back on eBay, let somebody else turn their 9.9 into a 15? I don't know. Okay, I can sit in this chair in this pretty much comfortable, what is it? 73.6 degree shop, and rattle on all day, but I got work to do. I got to get back on the Cobalt. We're making some modifications to that. Right after that, I've got over here, you've seen the video I think by now, where I've taken this off the back of that 1977 Four Winds. We've got the water pump in, SCI Marine, as you see back here, Marine Products. Follow the links below to find your SCI Marine Products. This isn't a sponsored video by them, but that one will be. They have provided me with quite a few parts to get the old green machine back on the water again and get that one going. And then after that, you guys have been asking about it, and thanks for hanging out this long into the video, but you guys have been asking about Big Blue out there, the 22.5-foot cuddy cabin Starcraft Islander is, I've got some ideas for it. SCI couldn't help me out with that one because it's too old. It's a 68, it's too old. It has for the outdrive and all that fun stuff. But the cool part is I've got all the other boats last summer I took apart, I kept some of the stern drive assembly pieces off of it, because I'm gonna take the stern drive, the gimbal housing and stuff on the back of that boat, and I'm pretty sure it has the same bolt pattern as a more modern one, so I can actually put that back on the boat. Then SCI can help me out, figure out what I need for trim pump, trim cylinders and outdrive and all that fun stuff, and we can bring that boat back to, let's just call it more modern day. When I say modern day, if I can put a brand new SEI on it, that's modern day enough for me, because that's brand new 2023 stuff in my book. It might be based off an old design, but it still works and it's brand new. It's not any new old stock or old stock I pulled off of boats. So we'll keep marching in that direction. A buddy of mine has got a boat that I'm learning on right now, and you guys have seen it. It's the green boat. It's a StarCraft Holiday, a closed bow with a 120 horse, and it has the outdrive, the upper seal on the upper gearbox was leaking, and I bought all the tools I need to take that apart. I'm using his as my guinea pig to learn how to take it apart. I was gonna video me working on that boat at his house or his shop and stuff, but I'm gonna use that one as a learning curve, and then I explain the rights and wrongs I did on it when I'm going through another one here, because I want to rebuild a complete outdrive gearbox and everything here. SEI does have a lot of gears, gear sets, seal kits, the whole 9 yards. I'm pretty sure I can work with them and figure out what I got to do to rebuild an entire outdrive. And so those of you that don't want to spend the money on a brand new outdrive, I want to educate you on how to rebuild yours. Maybe yours is just getting some water in it. I'm going to show you how to put a seal kit in that thing and make it so it's watertight again, because a lot of times if it's been properly maintained, you've got the gears and the bearings and everything are in great shape. It don't matter how many miles. If you protected it with the right amount of oil changes, stuff inside could still look like brand new. It's just, there again, like I said earlier in this video, if you've got rubber, plastic, once it's made, it starts to age, and it's hard to count on a, anywhere from 40 to 50-year-old outdrive to rubber in those seals to still be pliable as they were when they were made and still hold. This one here, we only noticed it because it was actually leaking gear oil under the floor. So it was leaking into the gimbal boot, and the gimbal boot luckily had popped off. I say luckily, it had popped off and was actually leaking out of the gimbal boot then. It wasn't cracked or anything because we just put that on last year. But if that wouldn't have happened, we wouldn't have known that that oil in the gearbox was getting pumped up, and then it could sit there and gather in that gimbal boot and you'd never know it. It's great for keeping the CV shafts in there completely oil covered and not rusting, but it doesn't do any favors for the gearbox running low on gear oil. So we'll, anyway, you follow where I'm going here. All right, folks, this is Michael saying if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep on coming back to the channel. We're trying to keep new things going, and we're trying to, I've got a lot of inboard, outboard stuff going on right now, but believe you me, once I get a couple more projects behind me, I'm sprinkling in these outboard stuff, which is, I have a lot of that in the early years on my channel, and there's a lot of people learning a lot from that stuff, but I also have some 20, 25 horse and 30 horse outboards that I want to spend more time on. A lot of my early channels were 4 horse, 4.5, 5, 6, 9, 8, 7 horse, whatever Mercury and Johnson had out there and Evinrude had out there at the time. So we got more of that coming. I just wish I had more hours in the day so I could keep on going, because I really love working on this stuff, and I really like taking the time to make videos for you guys. These videos, if I'm just out here wrenching and going and not worried about the camera, worried about recording, worried about editing, I can really do this stuff about twice as fast. It literally can happen twice as fast for me, but I also enjoy the aspect of bringing you guys stuff and educating. When I started this channel over 5 years ago, it was one of those things that was just like, it felt good. And it was neat to see how many people were interested in watching what I did and what I do. And then the feedback that I've been getting is just phenomenal as well. So that's why I do what I do. And that's you guys, just positive comments down below helps the algorithms. Plus it mentally, keeps me going and making me want to spend the time to do it. But eventually, someday, some year, maybe I can do this for full time. Right now, it won't cover all the bills, so I got to have a job and the YouTube job at the same time. Alrighty, enough is enough is enough. If it ain't broke, fix it till it is. Don't be afraid of making a mistake. Mistakes will happen. We learn from them. We move forward. What else can you ask for? I'm out of here.